up with other wagons. Most were bound for something called Oregon country. Her pa, thank goodness, wasn't going all that way. Still, the Rocky Mountains were a fair piece, and they had to cross the prairie to get there. Her uncle had told her the prairie was like the ocean, which she saw once, only it was a sea of grass and not water. She thought he was joshing, but it turned out he was right. Unfortunately, if there was anything more boring than a sea of grass, Clara had yet to make its acquaintance. Grass, grass, and more grass for as far as the eye could see. Oh, there were trees and such, but not a lot. Much of the prairie was flat land, or close to. Clara saw deer on occasion. A couple of mornings she spied elk. Rabbits were common at first, but not so many later. The one thing she saw the most of were grasshoppers. Each day repeated itself. Up early, hitch the team, a quick meal, and off they went. Mile upon mile of walking. A short break in the middle of the day, and then more plodding. Toward sundown, they would stop and circle the wagons, and then the best part of the day commenced. The cooking pots were put on, and they would eat leisurely and socialize. Clara liked the socializing. She always did cotton to people. Jacob, not so much. Alice did, if they were boys her age. Still, overall, their journey was as tiresome as could be. Except at night. The sky was beautiful. Her ma would let her lie out and admire the stars, and lordy, they were grand. There were more than she ever saw back to home. After an eternity of slogging, one afternoon the scout came galloping back, and the wagon master gave the order to halt. There was a lot of excited talk, and the next thing Clara knew, Indians appeared. Not a lot. She counted 10. They stayed off a ways and stared. She couldn't tell much except they wore buckskins with a lot of fringe and were armed with bows and lances. To her surprise, the wagon master and the scout took a cow out to them, and off they went. The next cause of excitement left her near breathless with wonderment. Another halt had been called, and the wagon master came down the line telling everyone to stay with their wagons, and the herd should miss them. Clara didn't understand the herd part until a rumbling sound from the north grew steadily louder. Buffalo. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. More than Clara could count. Not that she could see much for the dust, and the fact the buffalo didn't come any nearer than a quarter mile, or so her pa said. She saw how big they were, though, and she saw lots and lots of horns. Later, word came that it had been a small herd, spooked by something or other, and running itself out. Not long after came the moment Clara was dreading. They came within sight of the Rocky Mountains. Peaks so high they looked to touch the clouds. Soon foothills appeared, and with them a parting of the ways. Most of the wagons broke off to the northeast, and the next leg of their trek to Oregon country. Half a dozen headed south, making for some place called Bent's Fort, and beyond that, Santa Fe. Only 2 wagons continued due west, theirs and another one. The other family were the Wahlbergs. They were German. They spoke with an accent that sometimes made Clara giggle. They were nice, though. Their pa, Otto, and her pa got along great. Mrs. Wahlberg was a plump woman who jiggled all over when she laughed. They had 2 sons, one not much older than